Hi, how are you? I hope you are having an amazing day. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're not aware, my name is Andrea and I am the mom to Abby. She's amazing. She is almost 1 year old. She's turning one in less than a month, and we are so excited. And today I just wanted to share with you my breastfeeding journey. It really has been a journey, and why and how it did not work for me, and how I'm at peace with that now. I know this is a topic that is near and dear to so many people, and for a lot of people, they have really great successful experiences, and for others, not so much. And those are all okay. So I'm gonna jump right into my story. Before Abby was born, actually my entire life, ever since I thought of having babies, I have wanted to breastfeed. I just assumed that it would be easy and natural for me, that I wouldn't have any complications, or if I did, that I would be able to get through it with a nurse, lactation consultant, doctor, someone who would be able to help me through it. So that was just my assumption. That was my goal, my desire, what I always wanted. When I was pregnant with Abby, I did as much research as possible about breastfeeding. I even took a class at the hospital where I delivered Abby. So it was very informative. I remember I was actually the person in the class who was the furthest from being due, if that makes sense. I think I was like 5 months pregnant and in this class, and everyone else was like 8 or 9 months pregnant, right about to deliver. And I was so interested in getting as much information as possible and as soon as possible. So I feel like I went above and beyond on preparing myself. I even was able to get a breast pump through our insurance company for free. So that was really amazing for our family, that I was able to have it even before Abby was born. It was in her nursery. I checked it out and I learned how to use it. So I felt prepared and I was excited. So fast forward to when Abby arrived in the hospital. The first thing, of course, is we did skin on skin, and then pretty quickly I tried breastfeeding her, and right away I knew something was wrong. She had trouble latching. It wasn't working. I tried, the nurses helped, and she wasn't latching, and she seemed really upset. So Abby is a high needs baby, and when the hospital experience was very challenging for us, and there was a lot of crying and screaming, and so she just seemed to be really in distress, like wasn't enjoying the experience, didn't seem like she was getting enough milk when she was able to latch. Honestly, it just seemed like an awful experience for her, which made it an awful experience for me too. There were a lot of tears on my part as well, just seeing her so upset and frustrated. The nurses helped, so I worked with the nurses, and they weren't really able. We had an amazing nursing team, but they struggled as well with getting her to latch, with helping her be comfortable, if that makes sense. We weren't able to see the lactation consultants right away. The hospital at the time was very busy, so we waited a bit. When we were able to see them, they were able to help a little bit, but I noticed that it was challenging for them as well. And so I thought to myself, well, if it's challenging for the lactation consultants, it made me feel like it was less my fault. Like, this is just challenging, period. It's just for whatever reason, this whole experience that's supposed to be natural, it's challenging. And if it's challenging for the professionals, then it totally makes sense that it would be challenging for me too. And it sort of took the weight off of my shoulders, and made me see that this was, there was more going on here. They did try like the nipple shield or the guard, and that seemed to help a little bit, but it was still really painful, and Abby still wasn't having a great experience. I feel so bad for her looking back, knowing that it was so hard for her. It yeah, just thinking about it, like, ugh, hurts my heart. So we tried that. It wasn't working. Finally, believe we were in the hospital for 4 days. On the second to last day, they brought in a breast pump for me to use. I didn't bring mine from home. I didn't even think to be honest. And that helped. So I was able to pump and give and put that in a bottle to feed Abby. And that definitely helped. I was really thankful for that. There was a sense of relief. I was thankful that, the lactation consultants were able to teach me how to use it correctly. So that was great. And again, I just want to emphasize that we had an amazing, amazing medical team, doctors, nurses, lactation consultants, CNAs. Everyone was so helpful, and we're so appreciative for them. So we tried that, and then on the last day, Abby, it seemed like she wasn't getting enough milk, but on the last day, finally, they brought in samples of formula, like the pre-made formula bottles, and I was actually a little hesitant to give it to her. I thought, oh, does this make me a failure in some way? I didn't want to give up my dreams of exclusively breastfeeding, but we tried it, and it was just amazing. Abby took to the bottle right away with the formula, and she seemed finally like comfortable. And just seeing that as a mom it just brought such a sense of relief and peace, more so than my experience and my expectations and assumptions. Just knowing that she was finally like comfortably fed and comfortable, that was what really mattered to me. The whole experience, the breastfeeding experience in particular at the hospital, was so stressful and difficult that when my husband John and I, when we got home, we talked about doing a combination of exclusively pumping and formula, with a majority of being like pumped breast milk for Abby. And so I felt comfortable with that plan moving forward. Pumping was uncomfortable. I would even say painful. I had to do it every 3 hours, including in the middle of the night. So, Abby woke up in the middle of the night as a newborn. Those first few weeks, months actually, she woke up, several times in the middle of the night. So I had to wake up with her to feed her. And then, when she was sleeping in the middle of the night, I had to wake up to pump. So I was extra sleep deprived. It was awful. And I did that for some time. The other thing I did, and I just wanted to share this aspect of my experience with you, is that I did look up YouTube videos on how to like exclusively pump. That was, I was okay with supplementing with formula, but I was also interested in learning if there was a way that I could exclusively pump. I knew I wasn't producing a ton of milk. It seemed to be slower than what I was expecting or wanted. And I wanted to share that I was really disappointed at the videos that I came across, the majority of the videos that I came across about, exclusively pumping breast milk. Gosh, I don't know. A lot of them just came across as judgmental. And I remember one line when YouTube mom was saying that only watch her videos if you're really serious about exclusively pumping. You have to really be committed. If you're not that committed, then do you really care about the nutrition? And that was the kind of attitude, like, well, if you don't really care about your baby's nutrition, then don't try this, like, this isn't for you. And just that air of arrogance was such a turnoff for me. And after seeing that, and I already had this like perception in my mind that breast milk is best, and formula is just not good enough. It doesn't cut it. The studies show that babies who are exclusively breastfed have like higher IQs and better bonding with mom, and all of these things. And so just that extra added judgment was so hard for me, and it really brought me to a dark place. I struggled for months and months and months internally, just feeling like a failure, feeling like there is something wrong with me. why didn't this work out, and why couldn't I produce enough milk? I was drinking like the like, I forgot what kind of tea it was, like specific teas and cookies that are supposed to like produce more milk, and it just wasn't cutting it. I was eating oatmeal a lot because that's supposed to help. I was trying all the tricks in the book. And finally, I was so sleep deprived, so depressed. I was struggling with postpartum depression and anxiety as well. I was so low. And Abby was doing really well with the formula bottle. So Jen and I talked, and we decided to move away from pumping and exclusively formula feed. And we did that when Abby was about 2.5 months old. And once we did that, I felt such a sense of relief. Like there was a weight that was just taken off of my shoulders. And honestly, I wish I would have done it sooner. I wish I would have just formula fed her sooner. Just the lifted stress made such a difference for our family. And I realized that for our family, that was the right decision. Formula feeding her fed is best. I firmly believe that now. And I just want to share that with you. If you have a similar situation to mine, or if you're pregnant and doing research on formula versus breast milk, pumping versus, bottle versus feeding at the breast, those are all great options, and there's so much to think about, and you may experience things that you hadn't prepared for, and that's all okay. We're all just doing our best, and we care about our babies, and that's what's really important, I believe. So I just want to share that with you. There's a lot of great information out there on the internet, but there's also a lot of misinformation, and maybe people who don't understand or look at things from all different points of view. So, talk to your doctor, to your OB, to your pediatrician, and get a full picture, get all the information that you can. I do want to say that if we have another baby and breastfeeding doesn't work out, that is okay. Ahead of time, I already feel great about feeding my baby with formula. I'm happy to say that I feel at peace with saying that. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about my experience, again, this is just my experience, please leave them below in the comment section. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.